Hello, hello, hello. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we last heard from Norm Winski, and that's a couple of weeks too long for me. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. First, I have to tell the listeners I'm having a problem with my chart program, and so I had to just go and get charts off the internet. So I apologize for the less than ideal graphics and charts, okay? So when I was last on your show over the weekend of February 9th, we talked about three astro forecasting windows. We had that weekend. We had a new moon in the sign of Aquarius at perigee. That only occurs every 14 months, where we have a new moon at perigee when the moon is at its closest point. And then so anytime we have a new moon, full moon, we look at financials, grains, precious metals, oil, and because it was in Aquarius, we'll be looking at copper. We sort of had featured copper. Everything kind of came together for copper there over several days. And so AC is after the close, so the night of the 12th, we had geocentric Mars enter Aquarius, and again, that's copper. And then the night of the 13th, we had Venus 0 south latitude. Our Venus markets are cattle, copper, cotton, sugar, and wheat. So here's our first chart to review is, there's the moon point there. The corn made a little short-term low there and popped up, so you had a chance to make some money. That's a green arrow. Beans did pretty much the same thing there on the morning of Monday the 12th, and they popped up and you had a chance to make some money. Wheat went sideways on both our points for wheat, so we do nothing. That's a yellow box, and that's a pass. Here, cattle went down, down, down into our Venus point, and then up, 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 so that's a good one. Cotton, we were about a day early. You had a top 2 days, one day. It would have been the next day, it would have been good, but at this point, there, not so good. So that's a miss, that's a red arrow. Sugar kept going lower, so that's a red arrow, that's a miss. Copper was nearly perfect in that we caught this low right there in the next morning, and then it popped up for one day, and that was one of our points too. I think that was Mars into Aquarius, and then it pulled down into that low there for our Venus point, and then big rally in the copper, and we're good for about, I think, 15, 20, I think 20 cents. That's $5,000 in copper land. Here's silver, made a high there on the moon, and then had a couple of nice days down, and then gold just didn't turn at all. It just kept going. That's a miss. Crude oil, about a day or two early on the crude oil there, so that's a miss. S&P was very good. We made a nice top there on the moon, and then I think about 130 handle drop here from that high on the moon the Monday morning, following the moon, new moon, and then we dropped about 130 points into that low there, and that was another point to buy because you were down into an astro point there. And then this point was basically a redo of that, a double bottom there, and then they had a very nice rally there. So you had three good points for the S&P. Bonds just continued down on the moon, and the dollar was sideways. However, the currencies did pretty well. You rallied into the moon there, and then big drop the next day on the Aussie dollar, rallied on the British pound, and there was a little rally there the next day, but then a nice drop. Canadian dollar topped out there near the moon, and then a big drop, and the euro did pretty much the same thing. So if you add up all the arrows, you got 14 winners, 5 misses out of 19 for 73.68%. Here's what's coming up immediately. This weekend is the 23rd weekend. After the close, we have a full moon in the sign of Virgo. Anytime we have a full moon, new moon, we round up the usual suspects: financials, grains, precious metals, and oil. And because it's in Virgo, we're adding soybeans to that. So that's what we'll be watching, and look for markets that's been going up, 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 or down, down, down is the best situation. And then about 75% of the time, you should get a reversal. The weekend of March the 1st, we have Jupiter making 45 degrees to Neptune. Jupiter is in Taurus, so we'll be looking at cattle and cotton, and Neptune is oils. So look at those markets. If they're directional, the sideways do nothing. Now we're going to talk about a review, or sort of a combination review, follow-up to what I talked about that weekend of the 9th. We had the Super Bowl on Sunday the 11th, and I was forecasting because of the price action for January, which is the January barometer, it was forecasted an up year for the stock market. Super Bowl over the many years, it's over 50 years, I think about 55 years now since had the Super Bowl. It's also had a good record of forecasting the market. So I'm making the assumption that most of the time those two indicators should agree. Now, what happened in the Super Bowl was that in the first half of the game, the NFC are the Bulls, AFC are the Bears. NFC San Francisco 49ers were leading most of the first half of the game. That looked like it was all going to be good and in line with our January barometer, but then AFC Kansas City Chiefs came back to tie up the game in regular time, and I have it all here on this graph. Here's your scoring chart. There's the 49ers going up, 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 and then they started losing momentum in the second half, and then by the end of regular game, it was tied at 19-all. It went into overtime for only the second time in Super Bowl history, and the Kansas City Chiefs end up winning. I'm going to take a leap of faith here and interpret this that the most bullish part of this year is going to be the first half, and then I think it will kind of fizzle out as we go toward the end of the year, and we might even right at the end of the year might have a sell-off and end up slightly negative. That's my interpretation based on those two indicators. So there's something I usually don't do, long-term forecasting. That is kind of some fun stuff there. And I've been doing this a long time, over 50 years. Started trading in college when I'm just turned 73 now. And I made enough money in college to buy a membership on the Chicago Board Options Exchange. I was a member market maker on the floor there for 12 years. Also traded on the Chicago Board of Trade. And let's see, how can you get some help? I'll be happy to help you talk about anything I'm talking about here. By the way, none of my stuff is over a 5th grade level, so if you look at this stuff, go, oh, you could never learn this stuff, I'm going to prove that you're wrong. Sorry about that. And you'll be happy about that because I reduce everything to simple. Okay, you can catch me here in beautiful Naples, Florida at 239-594-3939. That's 239-594-3939. Or you can email me. Please email me at Winski, Nwinski at yahoo.com. Or you can also call me on Skype at that same email address. Just punch that into your search box there on Skype, and you should be able to find me. Looking forward to helping some of your folks there, Jeff, and everybody have a great weekend and a great week ahead.
Norm, terrific stuff as always. Another outstanding performance, and we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Great, thank you.
Bye-bye.